So, got the control board in today. 3D Robotics Ardu Pilot 2.5. There's probably a mega somewhere in there, but probably forgot it. So, opening it up, have our GPS unit. Supposedly very quick lock on from what I've heard. Main control board. USB cable, a couple other cables, very nice, and a current sensor with Hobby King's X60 or X80 connector. I'm going to be replacing this with Dean's. I love Dean's connectors. I use them on all my Surface stuff. I have a package of about 20 of them, and that's what I'll be doing. Alright, moving on. Got all this stuff out of the way. All the trash. Start off with the main board. So, just looks like a little information sheet, but it comes with a couple other things. Basic information. USB cable. Basic micro USB. Alright, this looks like the control board itself in a nice protective pouch. And it comes with a couple little jumpers, I guess. Not exactly sure what these are for, but not sure if it'll focus. But anyway, not sure what those are for. I'm sure I'll find out eventually. So, and this just looks like a cable for something. We'll figure that out eventually. So, most of the pins end up coming out or going in from the side. There is an option to have it come in from the top. I feel like it'd look really crappy if I did that. All the wires coming out of the top and going around. Yep. Ardu Pilot 2.6. Maybe it'll focus. Probably not. Probably too close. Anyway. So, as you can see, also says forward on it. Have to have this end facing forward on a tricopter, quadricopter, airplane, car, whatever you want to use it for. A couple other different ports for it. Put that aside. GPS has all the packaging information. Shows good quality in the manufacturer. I like that. Alright. Another one of those little information packets. Mounting tips. Clear view of sky. Keep away from any source of magnetic interference as possible, such as motors and speed controllers. And for rovers, it's recommended to elevate it. So I might elevate this on the tricopter. Not sure yet. I'm just going to leave the cables in here. Just all connection cables. One's for the magnetometer, the compass, I guess I could say, and the other one is just for the GPS. I'll just put that off to the side. So, simple GPS block, I guess you could say. It comes in a nice case. As you can see, there's the outputs for the magnetometer and the compass. And again, have to keep it facing forward. See that big white arrow there? Keep it facing forward. So, pretty simple stuff. I like it. Looks solid. I've heard good reviews of it. We'll see. And the current sensor. Sensor wire just plugs right into the board, I guess. If you wanted to run an OSD with your camera, you could do that. On-screen display, for those of you that don't know. Allows you to show like GPS signal, return to home distance, distance to home, like I just said. A couple other really awesome things. Just looks like a simple current sensor. Like I said earlier, I'm just going to whack off these two connectors and put on my own Deans. I like Deans, as I said earlier. I have all my stuff runs on Deans. for the most part. Put that off to the side, and that looks like it's just about it. Again, simple USB cable to program it, basically set it up, and allow you to program how you want to, where your home is. You can set different waypoints and it'll fly to those waypoints. Anyway, so, and that's it for the GPS and control system. Alright, so next up in the unboxing, basically showing off exactly what everything's going to be, is the controller, DX6i. It's a computerized radio. It's basically Spectrum's lowest model of computerized radio. There's a couple other models. We needed the channels to run the GPS and all the different functions that has. We wanted to take advantage of that. So, and this is the transmitter only bundle. The ones that you guys will be getting will come with a receiver. I was able to pick up a receiver, the same one that comes with it. And I guess I'll start off with the receiver here. So, receiver is a Spectrum AR6210 DSM X 6-channel aircraft receiver. As you can see, basically it comes with two receivers. The one down here is a remote receiver. I'm going to be mounting that probably on one of the arms. And this one here is the standard receiver. Basically this here is so that if you have a bunch of stuff around it, around this receiver, and you want to get a better signal, you can just put this one off to the side. You'll get a better signal, and you won't lose reception in the middle of a flight and crash. Nobody wants to crash. And inside here it just comes with a manual bind plug, a couple other things. I'll explain that a little bit later. Alright, so radio. If I can ever get the thing open. As I said earlier, it's a DX6i. Picked it up from a local hobby shop. One of them. Very awesome shop. Spent some time working there. Nothing else is in the box. It's just styrofoam, instruction manuals, whatnot. So, manuals look like they're pretty well taped in. I'm just going to go right ahead and cut that. And show you guys what the paperwork is. Yeah. Pretty simple to get that out. The instruction manual, I think it's in about 10 different languages if you happen to speak German or Japanese or Chinese. Warranty instructions if you wanted to register for the warranty. I definitely suggest you do. They're really helpful. I had to send one of these radios in once, and it was very quick. It took a little bit, but still came in pretty quick. About 2 weeks. Needed some new gimbals. I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, so just a registration form if you wanted to go and fill that out. And what's this? Quick guide? Yeah. Basically, a quick guide to show basically what everything does if you were to be flying an airplane. Yeah, you can look through that if you want. Again, big manual. It's really thick. Never really read through it completely. I do suggest you do. I'll be trying to explain everything as I go along. Anyway, on to the radio. And right away, comes with some tools to adjust things. If you wanted to pull apart the radio and adjust the gimbals, I believe you can adjust the gimbal tension. So as you're moving around, if you feel like it's too tight, you can adjust that. It's a great thing if you happen to have your own radio and you want to have it the way you like it. Charging cable does come with rechargeable batteries, nickel monohydrate batteries. Not the greatest thing in the world, but definitely better than standard alkaline batteries. Just like it's a receiver, and it's just a wall adapter receiver into an adapter for the radio. And there's really no way that you can reverse the polarities on this, which is awesome. Don't want to be blowing up your transmitter because you plugged in your charger wrong. So that's awesome. You can't even plug it in wrong, but if you do, the wires wouldn't even match up. So that's a great thing to have. Put that off to the side. Here's their rechargeable AA batteries. Yep, nickel monohydrate, 1500, 1.5, 1.4 volts, 1.2 volts. I was wrong again. Anyway, so onto the transmitter. Put the styrofoam off to the side. Great little transmitter. Very smooth gimbals, so that it's not clicking as you rise your throttle up. Just by the way, throttle, rudder, so it changes the rotation of the tricopter. Bank left, bank right, lean forward, lean back. Basically, it's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. It's explained in a quick start guide as far as airplanes go. Yeah. And on the top here, you have a trainer button. So basically, if you were to help somebody learn to fly and you want them to have control, you click up. If you want to take control, you just let go and you fly and you save the airplane. On the back is a flight mode switch. I plan on using this probably for GPS return to home for this one here, or also a stability or agility switch. On the back is a throttle hold switch, so if you're flying a regular helicopter, you flick it up and the cuts power to the motors. It's great if you're about to crash. You absolutely need to hit this switch if you're about to crash. On the back is the dual rate switch, and on top there's a couple others, elevator, aileron right here, and this is the rudder. There is a way to program them all. If you just flick one switch, you can choose whatever switch you want. Basically, dual rates are, it changes the amount of travel a control surface has. So if you're in an airplane and you hold right stick all the way, it's going to roll really quickly, especially if you're in a performance airplane. But anyway, and if you want to tame that down, basically is a good way to say it. You can just program it into the radio. You flip a switch, you have lower rates, so just for normal flying if you wanted to do that. And then you have your higher rates if you wanted to go in to do some aerobatics or whatnot. Up here is the throttle cut, so if you're flying an airplane, basically you hit that, especially a gas airplane, you hit that and it basically turns off the airplane. Flap gyro switch, I'm not sure what I'll assign this to be. It might be some form of, I might use this for a flight mode switch instead, I'm not sure yet. Over here is all your trim switches. If you're used to driving RC cars, basically the only difference between these and the ones on RC cars is there's 4 of them instead of just 2 or maybe even 3. So say if your plane is yawing off to the right or left, you just trim it. Same with throttle here, elevator, and L. And up top is just a folding antenna. It's great for storage, and if you happen to whack it, you're not going to break the antenna off like I've seen people do before, and then they get mad. So I'm going to throw the batteries in, hope it's charged, and I'll just walk you through a few of the menus. And I won't get into programming just yet as I haven't set up the tricopter. I could show you on my personal radio all the different programming options, but I will not go into that right now. Alright, so I got the batteries in. They come charged. I guess the transmitter turns on. It works really well. I like it. So you turn it on. First thing you're going to see is this screen right here. Basically shows your main screen, your trim sliders on the top and the bottom down here. Also what type of model you're flying, and also a model name is up here. So right now it's just programmed as Model 1 and as an airplane. You're going to leave it as an airplane for when you set up your tricopter. It's the way it needs to be. Don't question it. It just needs to be that way. I'm not sure exactly why. It's just the way that the programming and the control board likes it. So when you go into that, that's what you need. So you press this roller up here once and you get to this list here. It's the adjust list. You can go down, model select, all these different options. Right here is dual rates and expo. That's where you program in, like if you were to hit this switch here, you can set it, oh, I want my rudder to not have as much throw. That's what dual rates are. Expo is basically, it makes, the best way to explain it is, it makes it easier to hover or to fly in a straight line. And basically what it does is it changes the curve instead of a linear curve into a, well, curved curve, I guess you could say. And so as you move your stick, the control surface doesn't move as much as it usually would, but once you get towards the end, it really starts to move. I use Expo a lot. It's right. I usually use around anywhere between 30 and 60. I haven't had the Tricopter yet, so once I get that, I'll go through and I'll set it up to my personal liking. Expo and dual rates are two of those things that it's a personal liking thing. If you absolutely hate Expo, don't use it. If you don't use it, then you might over control the Tricopter and end up crashing into the ground or flipping it, or just overall over controlling it. It's not a great thing to do. You might lose orientation, but I'll talk about orientation and ways to keep your orientation a little bit later. But for now, this is the DX6i by Spectrum RC. It's a 2.4 gigahertz radio, so there's no interference whatsoever. It's running DSMX, which is the newest, basically radio band, the frequency that it runs on. It's the newest out there. I personally have used the Spectrum my entire time flying. It's a great transmitter. If you want to use other models, you can just bind it right up to that model and fly for the most part. There's a lot of awesome airplanes and helicopters and multi-copters out there that they make that you can just simply bind to it and go. It's awesome. I love it. Anyway, well, this is the transmitter. On to the next thing. Alright, so I just wanted to give you guys a quick introduction on the battery chemistry that you'll be using. Most of you will be completely unfamiliar with it. If you don't treat it right, it is extremely dangerous. I beg of you not to stab one of these batteries. It will blow up in your face and at least catch on fire. And it's not fun, especially when it's in a house or something. I've seen people burn down their houses with these batteries. Just don't do it. If you use them correctly, they're perfectly safe. They're awesome batteries. They provide a lot of power, a lot of punch, and just use them correctly. Treat them well, at least. I'll talk about battery polarities and how not to switch them, especially with Dean's connectors, the way that those are set up. But anyway, this is a lithium polymer battery. It's a Turnigy 2.2 2200 milliamp hour battery. It's a very common size battery to use, 3-cell 2200s. I use them in a couple of my airplanes and helicopters and whatnot. Really inexpensive. I went there from Hobby King. Extremely expensive, or inexpensive rather. You can get them shipped from the US. I got these in about 2 days on their least expensive shipping, which is really good. As far as flight times, I've yet to test one of these on a Tricopter. I know on my personal quadricopter, I get about 13 minutes a flight. And I expect with a Tricopter, you're probably going to get about 15, if you're really trying to save battery, 20 minutes if you really try and you're not carrying a GoPro. Anyway, a great battery. I love them. With the Tricopter, you can go all the way up to, I believe, a 3200 milliamp hour battery. At that point, you just need to be careful of how much weight you're carrying. With that size battery, you're probably going to get easily 20 minutes out of it. And anyway, these are the connectors that come on the current sensor on the Ardu Pilot. I don't have a charging cable for this. I don't have the female end for this. I have never used these connectors. They look like almost like the EC3 connectors that you can get, or even EC5s if you're flying big stuff. But I have, XT60 is what these connectors are. If you want to use them, and if you don't feel comfortable really soldering up Dean's connectors, feel free to use them. I personally am going to use Dean's connectors, as I've explained multiple times already. There's a reason for that. And plus I got a pack of about 20 of them right here. I'll explain more about soldering these when I get to that point. But right now, basically what you need to know is this end right here, that's the male end, that goes on the speed controller. You do not want to put these on the battery connector, because basically what can happen is you get a little piece of metal and you touch these two and your battery is now smoky and eventually catching on fire. But like I said earlier, the battery chemistry is really safe. I have trust in these connectors here that they won't blow up in your face when you solder this. Just be careful when you're soldering it. I'll go over that in a little bit. But for now, there's a special way to charge these batteries. Basically, this is a balance cable, and when you plug this into your charger, it balances out all 6 of the cells in here, because there's basically each cell is wired in parallel and series, so that you get more capacity out of it. It's a 6-cell LiPo, and basically they wire it so that it gets more capacity than voltage. And out here you get about 12 volts. You get 11.1 volts. On a full charge it'll be closer to 12. Therefore, if you wanted to, you can run stuff like the Fat Shark goggles, which we'll be going over in a little bit if those ever come in. But basically, when you charge it, always have this plugged into something. This is the balance lead. There's a way that you can charge this completely off the balance lead. It'll take you forever. The first charge is going to take a little while, because I'm betting most of these cells aren't balanced completely. So basically, they don't all have the same voltage. That's what the charger reads. But I'll be going over charging and whatnot a little bit later. I'm kind of confused though about the wiring of these batteries. Maybe not. But these cables are they're all different sizes, and that's probably going to bother me eventually. But anyway, it also says match cells. So they're all going to end up pumping out about the same voltage, about the same capacity. That's really good. Especially for cheap $15 batteries. We're trying to keep this project inexpensive for the schools. And this is a great way to cut costs, but don't want to use them incorrectly. So anyway, you might be asking now why I have this hunk of wire. When we get to the Tricopter, you need to make either basically like a pigtail end, so that you end up with 3 wires per polarity on this, so you end up with 6 wires coming out of this connector itself. You don't wire that completely into the battery, because you still need to unplug them and whatnot. But basically what you do is you have 3 connectors coming out on the end, or 6, 3 for each polarity, and then you solder those onto your speed controllers, and that's how you get power to speed controllers. The way I plan on doing it is on the speed controllers is basically the same as this, only the female end of this, the opposite end, and you can just wire them across from negative to positive, all the way around. And then you put a plug on the end, and that's how you can get power to the batteries that way, or speed controllers that way. That's the way I plan on doing it. It seems really simple, really lightweight. It's probably going to be the least expensive way out of all of them. You can get, I believe they call them para boards, or distribution boards rather. And basically it's basically a board. It's a computer chip. Well, not computer chip, but it's a board with 3 or 4 or 8 or 6 outlets on it, and then you plug your speed controllers into that. I feel like that's really heavy. For this, weight is a factor. You don't want to be way too heavy or way too light, or else it's not going to fly through the wind. If it's too heavy, it won't fly at all. But I'm now ranting. We'll end this video and we'll go on to the Tricopter. Okay, so I'm not just going to go through all the Tricopter stuff that just came in one nice package. I hear Flight Test is really good about their packaging, but so right here it just looks like it's the entire Tricopter kit, the frame and everything. Really well packaged. You can see there's the landing gear and the motor mounts back here cut into Durlin, I believe it is, some Velcro for the battery and all that. And this is just a bag of spare parts and that aside for now. Ordered a bunch of spare booms. You're probably going to break some. And so those spare booms. And this is just a landing gear that they offer. It's made of the same material as the motor mounts, Durlin, I believe it is. I'm just going to use this to mount the video transmitter on the back tail fin, and so where I can separate all my receivers and transmitters and all that fun stuff. You really want to separate everything, keep a lot of space to keep interference out of your tricopter or whatever copter you want to use. And this here is the camera mount. Basically what they did is it's just a little plate mounted on some wiring, and that isolates all the vibration just to the tricopter, so you have really nice smooth videos. I guess it's going to help with video quality and whatnot, but other than that, really simple. Piece ended up popping right out there. They just laser cut on this light plywood. Alright, so I'm just going to go into the main tricopter kit bag right off the bat. A couple of wood arms. There's 3 of them. Don't get any spares, but hey, you're not supposed to crash anyway. That's why we ordered spares. Next up is the frame. It's going to be the same deal as with the camera mount. Is just going to have to pop out all the little pieces. I am going to go around and sand that hub so I'm not cutting up wires. But with this, you can go and make anything from a tricopter to a hexacopter. You could make a quadricopter if you feel like it. Tricopter I felt like was the least expensive option to do. One less motor, one less speed controller, one less arm, basically. A little bit more complicated as far as mechanics go, but shouldn't be that hard to deal with. This one here is the straight mounts, and it comes with 2 of them. So basically these are just the motor mounts that you're going to mount your motors to on your 2 front arms, and should be really simple. I hear that they're extremely durable and they just pop together really quick. Should be a quick build once I get going. Screws to attach the arms to the main frame, and then the motor mounts to those arms. Here we have a couple of Velcro straps, hold your batteries in with the included battery mount. We'll be mounting the battery on the camera mount for this one. Should be still relatively simple. And this here is the tilt mount for the back, because to control your yaw on a tricopter, you need to basically move the disc of the motor side to side, and that'll move the motor around. And because this is using a tilt, you don't need counter-rotating blades on any of them. You can just use regular blades, which is awesome. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to have those super expensive counter-rotating blades, which is really going to help with the cost of this build. Electronics kit still hasn't come in yet, so I can't completely go through this build, but I can just show you. I'll probably unpackage one of these eventually, but for now, this is the tricopter kit, what comes when you order one. This doesn't come with it. We ordered this separately. This is the camera mount and battery mount too. But other than that, everything you see here comes in the kit. So you got the 2 motor mounts, well 3, your Velcro, your arms, and your mainframe. But other than that, really simple build. I'm really looking forward to building this. Alright. Okay, so while I'm waiting for the booms to dry from the coat of paint that they just received, I'm going to go and unbox the electronics kit that we ordered. This is from Altitude Hobbies. It's basically a purpose-built kit just for the tricopter. So it comes with 4 props. I believe that they did end up sending a couple of backwards, the reverse rotation props. I don't know why. It's a tricopter, you don't need them. So I might have to go and purchase some separately, but we'll see. So right away you see Comes with 3 ESCs. These are 22 amp ESCs. They're multi-rotor ESCs, so you don't have to go in and basically program the ESCs to be able to reverse the motors. Well, you don't need to reverse, but anyway. Right here, it looks like these are some servo extensions, I'm guessing for the servo. But that's this side. Here's a smaller one. Probably going to be using this one, but we'll see. The servo comes with a bunch of different arms. Chances are we're just going to be using this one straight arm right here. It's a Metal Gear servo, so it should be pretty durable in the case of a crash. I'm not sure if it's digital or not, but for this we don't really need it. And it comes with 3 pretty good sized motors. These are 1450 kV, so basically a kilovolt is how many revolutions per volt. I believe that's what it is. Also comes with some motor mounts so that you can mount it. I guess you put the motor mount on the bottom of the Tricopter motor mount, and then you put the motor on top. We'll see. So that's all that comes with it. I do like the fact that they gave you a couple of extensions. That's really nice. But otherwise, that's all it comes with.